In today's video, we will explore a powerful passage from Proverbs 1, which offers profound teachings about wisdom, the dangers of following the path of the wicked, and the consequences of ignoring knowledge. We will understand how the temptations of the world may seem appealing, but ultimately lead to destruction, while wisdom provides protection and security. We will also see how God's wisdom calls out to everyone and teaches us to live prudently, avoiding mistakes that can cost us dearly. Stay with us until the end to discover how to apply these teachings to your life and ensure a path of peace and prosperity. The passage from Proverbs 1, from verses 1 to 11, speaks about the importance of knowledge and wisdom for life. Each verse carries a vital principle for building character and a mind aligned with divine justice. Let's break this down so the audience can understand the profound impact of these teachings. Verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Here the author introduces Solomon, the wisest king who ever lived according to the Bible. He is the son of King David, and his wisdom was given by God, who granted him a deep understanding of how to live and rule. This verse sets the foundation for what follows: valuable instructions from someone who has divine authority to teach. Verse 2, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. Solomon reveals the purpose of the Proverbs to help us know wisdom and instruction and understand the words of understanding. Wisdom is not just knowledge, it is the ability to apply that knowledge with discernment. Prudence is the care to make the right choices, thinking about the consequences of our actions. Verse 3, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity. Here he speaks of the need to learn not only wisdom, but also justice, judgment, and equity. Justice is the principle of treating everyone equally without prejudice. Judgment is the power to discern right from wrong, and equity is justice that seeks harmony and balance. These are the pillars for an upright life and a just society. Verse 4, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. The simple here refers to people who, due to a lack of experience or wisdom, may be naive. Solomon affirms that wisdom is for everyone, especially the young, because it is when we are more moldable and vulnerable to influences. Teaching prudence to the youth prepares them to face the temptations and challenges of life. Verse 5, a wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. Wisdom is a continuous process. Even the wise must be willing to listen, learn, and grow. Understanding and humility to accept new counsel are vital for a constant path of improvement. Verse 6, to understand a proverb and its interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Here, the emphasis is on correctly interpreting the words of wisdom. It's not enough to just hear. It's necessary to understand and internalize what is said with the intent to apply these teachings in everyday life. Verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. This verse is the starting point for all wisdom, the fear of God. The fear here doesn't mean being afraid, but having a deep respect and reverence for the Lord. It is the foundation that sustains the pursuit of true understanding. Those who reject wisdom, according to the author, are like fools, as they fail to recognize the divine source of knowledge. Verse 8, my son, hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother. Here, Solomon speaks directly to children, urging them to value their parents' instruction, as parents are often the first sources of wisdom in a person's life. The counsel of father and mother should be heeded, because through them we learn the way of life. Verse 9, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto your head, and chains about your neck. This verse compares the instruction of parents to precious adornments. The diadem and the necklace are symbols of honor and beauty, just as the wisdom acquired through the teachings of those who love us should be valued and worn as a sign of dignity and respect. Verse 10, my son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. Solomon warns against the temptations of the world. The sinners here represent those who act wrongly and try to seduce the innocent with promises of immediate pleasure. The advice is clear: don't give in to temptations that draw us away from God and true wisdom. Verse 11, if they say, come with us, let us lay in wait for blood, let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Here, Solomon describes the trap of evil, those who plan to deceive or harm the innocent. This is a clear warning not to associate with people who have bad intentions, as it can lead us down paths of violence and injustice. Summary for the video. The wisdom that Solomon offers is a guide for living a just and balanced life. He teaches us to listen, learn from the experienced, and make decisions based on the deep knowledge that comes from God. In today's world, these lessons remain crucial as they protect us from the traps of life and lead us to true understanding. Verse 12, let us swallow them alive, like the grave, and whole, like those who go down to the pit. This verse speaks about the plans of the wicked who, by seducing others, seek to destroy them completely as if they were a pit. The grave here symbolizes the spiritual and moral death of those who follow the wrong paths. The image is strong because it denotes a desire to end the life and soul of those who join them. Verse 13, we shall find all kinds of precious goods. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Here, the wicked promise riches and material advantages as an attraction for others to join them. They try to seduce the unsuspecting with promises of easy gain, which sounds tempting, but is a trap. They seek prosperity at the expense of others, using immoral means. Verse 14, cast in your lot among us, let us all have one purse. This verse suggests the union of forces for a selfish purpose, where everyone has the same goal, to exploit and gain material benefits. They invite others to join this corrupt union, suggesting that everyone shares the same interests and desires. Verse 15, my son, do not walk in the way with them, keep your foot from their path. Solomon once again warns his son against the temptation to follow the wicked. He instructs him to stay away from any path that leads to destruction. The advice here is clear. Avoid the negative influences that lead to moral and spiritual corruption. Verse 16, for their feet run to evil and they make haste to shed blood. Here, Solomon describes the character of the wicked. They not only seek evil, but they do so quickly with the intent to harm others, even shedding blood. This symbolizes the violence and injustice with which they seek to achieve their goals. Verse 17, surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. This verse uses a metaphor about the futility of trying to deceive someone who is already alert. The net is a trap, but the wise bird knows how to avoid it. Solomon teaches that we should not fall into obvious traps, for those who have wisdom and discernment know when they are being deceived. Verse 18, but they lie in wait for their own blood. They lurk secretly for their own lives. The wicked, although they seek the destruction of others, end up destroying themselves in the process. They lay traps for others, but these traps end up coming back to them, leading to their own ruin. Verse 19, so are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Greed is the driving force behind these actions, and Solomon warns that by yielding to greed, a person loses their soul. The relentless pursuit of material goods, power, or selfish satisfaction leads to internal and spiritual destruction. Verse 20, wisdom cries aloud in the street. In the markets, she raises her voice. Wisdom is depicted as an active figure, calling out to those who are still lost and in need of guidance. It does not remain silent, but calls out openly, seeking to reach everyone, especially those who have not yet heard its call. Verse 21, she cries out from the heights of the city. At the entrance of the gates in the city, she speaks her words. Here, wisdom is accessible to all. It does not hide in remote places, but is in the streets, at the gates, and in the city, waiting to be heard. The invitation is for everyone to have access to knowledge and truth. Verse 22, how long, O simple ones, will you love being simple? How long will scoffers delight in their scoffing and fools hate knowledge? Wisdom now addresses the simple, the scoffers, and the fools. It questions how long these groups will continue in their foolish ways, rejecting knowledge. It offers a chance for change, but it will only be taken if there is a change in attitude and openness to learning. Verse 23, turn at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit to you. I will make my words known to you. Wisdom promises to pour out its spirit on those who accept reproof. It offers an abundance of wisdom and knowledge to those willing to learn and be corrected. Verse 24, because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one has heeded. Despite wisdom's call, many reject its teachings. This verse speaks about the wasted opportunity. Wisdom was offered but not accepted. Verse 25, because you have ignored all my counsel and would have none of my reproof. Rejecting the counsel and reproof of wisdom is a fatal mistake. Solomon warns us about the consequences of ignoring divine instruction. Verse 26, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your terror comes. When calamity strikes those who have despised wisdom, it will rejoice for having been rejected. This is a consequence of rejecting divine instruction. By ignoring knowledge, one makes room for ruin. Verse 27, when your terror comes like a storm and your calamity comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. Here, wisdom describes the consequence of disdain. When fear and loss arrive, it will be like a storm that brings anguish and pain. The consequences of ignoring wisdom are inevitable. Verse 28, then they will call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but will not find me. Wisdom will not respond to those who have rejected it. This is a warning not to expect wisdom when life becomes too difficult, for it can only be accepted while it is freely offered. Verse 29, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. The root of the problem is the hatred of knowledge and the lack of fear of God. This rejection leads to destruction. Verse 30, they would have none of my counsel and despised all my reproof. Those who reject wisdom's counsel and reproof are, in fact, turning away from the protection it offers. Verse 31, therefore they shall eat the fruit of their way and be filled with their own devices. People will reap what they have sown. They will feast on the fruit of their choices, which were made recklessly and selfishly. Verse 32, for the simple are killed by their turning away, and the complacency of fools destroys them. The lack of wisdom and foolishness lead to destruction. The error of the simple and the folly of the foolish are fatal. Verse 33, but whoever listens to me will dwell secure and will be at ease, without dread of disaster. On the other hand, those who listen to wisdom will be protected and live in peace, free from the fear of evil. Did you enjoy the video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here on the channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.